So in our practice this morning, I'm not going to go crazy into depth on we've been working with that kind of thoracic diaphragm a little bit, but even a little higher. So I'll just remind you again from the top of the breastbone across the top of your collarbones, above the collarbone area, out to the corners, from the base of the neck, below C7, go down like T1, T2. So from T2, there's that area, it comes across, and then it'll run into the scapula, and it'll run across the spine of the scapula to meet at the corners again. So we've been working some last week with just, wow, what is the space in the front like? What is the space in the back? When do I want to roll this space up? And let's remember in this sort of thinking that when we roll this space up, we're not using muscular effort from the back body to do it. We're using your felt sense, your kinesthetic awareness to roll it up, and to let this down, or you might be going the opposite way. You might be letting the back come forward and the front descend. And we remember the little corners out there that we were lifting and extending and reaching. Cool? All right. So let's go ahead. Let's take a comfortable seat. And you're welcome to close your eyes. And to allow your hands to rest wherever is comfortable for you. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing what in structural integration we think of as the sleeve of the body. So relaxing this sleeve of your body, and find the support that comes up from deep inside of you. And can you also take a moment to connect to the back of you? To feel the support that may be seen and unseen. Sometimes when we are feeling more anxious, worried, concerned, we might find ourselves actually leaning forward slightly. Even in standing, we'll have the torso leaning forward. And when we lean forward, it is more challenging to take a deep breath. So right now, you are supported beneath you. You've lengthened your spine. And I'm just inviting you to rest into the support behind you. And then connecting to the left side of your body. The right side. your front side. And with your next inhale, the inside. And drop into your Ujjayi. If you remember, you can draw your felt sense to the notch right above the breastbone. And imagine that the inhale, you're drawing the breath in right there. And the exhale also, the breath coming right out. If you imagine it coming out of that same spot, so that this tone at the throat center and as I've been working with my Ujjayi, I like to imagine my breath coming in at the top of the breastbone there at that sternal notch and feeling the inhale's relationship to my heart. So that see if you can feel this relationship of the Ujjayi, its relationship to the space of your heart, both on the inhale and also the exhale. Perhaps, perhaps there has been no disaster, no great calamity, and the present whirlwind is only another great invitation to be here, to live in this moment, the only moment there is, to actually turn towards this empty and ungrounded feeling, to deeply honor it, to allow it in, to say yes to life and all its myriad present appearances. Yes to everything being uncertain right now. Yes to everything that may feel is spinning out of control. Yes to none of it making sense. The focus off the story of time and space, and to bring loving focus back to the place you actually are and will always be, here and now, your true home. To sink into the sacred mystery of it all. Perhaps then, in the midst of breakdown, the seeds of breakthrough can take root. planted with wisdom, watered with love, held in the warmth of your timeless presence. And at the bottom of your next exhale, you can release any control on your breath. Join your hands together in front of your heart. And we'll sing Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Now Punatu. Take a deep inhale. Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Punatu Savinyam Karavavai Tejasvina Varim Tamastu So can I just remind you, in this space between the collarbone and the spine of the scapula, that in the center of that space.
Sorry, Lynn, but the volume went way down.
We can't hear you.
Let's come over to puppy pose.
Hey, Lynn, can you hear us?
Just barely. But that was like that before. I could just barely hear you. I don't know what's going on with this. It's the same speaker I've been using every day. I don't know.
I can actually talk to you about it later. I think I know what's happening, but we can talk about it later so it stops happening.
Okay. I know that
You're coming back
could
now.
be connected to but I'm using the built-in microphone on it, the internal speaker, and that's what I've been using all along.
It has to do with the setting in Zoom.
Yeah.
We
But it should regulate itself. So
it's better when you're close, Lynn.
Well,
Lynn, it'll pick up when I back up.
you have such good lungs and such beautiful you're singing. That's what
Yeah. So let's go back to puppy pose, okay? Go to puppy. So you're gonna come to all fours and then go ahead and walk the hands forward. And then take the hips back. but not back to the sit bones, just slide them back. And while you're in puppy, can you drop yourself into your Ujjayi again? Drop back to your Ujjayi breathing. And notice where your throat center is. Can you balance the throat center? If you think of that whole ring of, say, the first rib, inside the ring of the first rib is the throat that all the way wraps around your body. And how are you balancing that in this puppy pose right now? As well, I want you to reach those upper corners of the shoulders toward your hands. So lengthen that up towards the hands. Take like a couple more breaths, 2 more breaths. And then at the bottom of the next exhale, go ahead and walk the hands back and grab your blocks. And then let's step left foot forward, right foot back. You're coming into a low lunge with the back knee lifted. And with your next inhale, step your back foot forward. And with your exhale, step your left foot back. Lengthening out the crown of the skull. And again, where's the throat center? And you can have hands on blocks. And we're going to step back to downward facing dog. We'll keep our hands on blocks at any height because we haven't really stretched out the calves. So you might have some tight calves. So we might go downward dog. And then let's take the full inhale to come to plank. And with your next exhale, take the hips up and back. Can you be steady with the arms as you reach back to downward facing dog? The inhale slowly forward to plank. So that as you move to plank, again, are you steady on the midline? And then back to downward facing dog again. You arrive in downward dog at the pause. And then when you inhale, you start coming forward to plank. Noticing if the weight is shifting between the hands. Can it be steady? You're going to go one more time back to downward dog. And then we're going to step forward. And we'll bow forward. We'll bow to Uttanasana. So fully letting from the tops of the spines of the scapula roll forward, that front space, from the midpoint down to the collarbones, rolls down. And we're going to inhale halfway up. So we're going up halfway. Let's lift right above the collarbones, kind of like Padangusthasana, where we grab the big toes. Only right now we might just have the hands on our blocks. So we're going to lift right at the top of the breastbone, above the collarbones. Roll that up away from the collarbones themselves. This time you might have the gaze up a little. And then we're going to exhale, bow again. This time releasing, going the opposite way. With your next inhale, halfway one more time. Lifting above the collarbones. And then exhale, bow. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale your hands back in front of your heart, back to this place that I like to think of as coming home. And then let's release the arms and let's take a wide stance. We'll take a wide stance. You're going to take right foot comes out and the left foot in slightly for warrior two. So inhale the arms wide. So notice on the back arm, your left arm, you want to roll that space above the left collarbone up, like you can roll it up to meet closer towards the space that goes back. Because when you do, especially in warrior two, when you are able to roll that up, do you feel what happens with the back arm? So that the back arm actually, you might feel it actually lengthen out a little more. And then with the next exhale, we'll go to warrior two. Still working with your Ujjayi. Let's release the back arm down. Turn the front palm up to the sky. Inhale, rising. Lifting up through that right front corner all the way towards the hand. And then with the exhale, we're going to a modified side angle. So you can either have the forearm at the front thigh or the hand on a block. So again, allowing on the outer left shoulder blade, don't forget to let that rep on the rib cage forward, and then reach through that whole corner up towards the pinky. Reach all the way back into the left heel. Inhale, come back up. All the way up, release your hands, and let's take the feet to go the other direction. We'll inhale the arms out when you're ready. So noticing on the back hand, can you roll from right above the collarbone up like you were going to roll up towards a midline, an imaginary line. And then we'll exhale, warrior two. Release the back arm, inhale, rising. Your exhale, side angle. Inhale, coming all the way up. Release the arms. Let's make the feet parallel. If you know you need blocks, please bring blocks out in front of you. Hands up on the hips. Lifting right up the manubrium itself. So lifting the top of the breastbone. Rolling above the collarbones all the way up. And exhale, beginning to bow forward. We keep this lift until the hamstrings say, that's about it. And then you can release your hands either to the ground or to your blocks. And then allow the opposite to happen. Above the spines of the scapula, let those roll more forward. And then inhale, let's straighten both arms. Bring your left hand to the space between your two hands, either on a block or on the ground. Right hand up on your hip. Lengthen all the way out the top of the head. And then exhale, let's rotate. Rotate towards your right. Roll that right above the right collarbone up, lift that up. And exhale, come back to center, switch your hands. Right hand comes up on the hip. Lengthen out through the crown of the skull, right? So the spine stays at midline. And then we begin to lift above the left collarbone. Rolling all the way up as you turn, turning to the left. Exhale, come back to center. Release forward again. You might walk the hands back. And then inhale, walk the hands out. Let's shift them up to the hips. And come all the way back to standing. Step your feet together. And we're going to take tree pose. So if you want to be by a wall, you'll have the left side of your body next to the wall. Otherwise, you can stand in the middle of the room. When we come into this tree pose, can we do it in a way? Before we do tree, let's take upward hands pose. So in other words, let's take the arms. Let's remember these upper corners, those soft little corners. And let's inhale, lift the arms up. So we lift the arms up. What happens when you then really reach? Reach the corners all the way to the hands. And we might go ahead and lift right above the top of the breastbone. Maybe the gaze. And we'll exhale, hands back, Ujjayi Mudra. Relax both arms. So you're gonna be standing on the right leg first. So if you're gonna be at a wall, the left side of your body is at the wall. So when you're ready, shift the weight to the right leg and bring your left foot up. And lift your arms. And then we'll release. One reason it is kind of nice to have the wall right now is then you can play a little bit more with that, the reach of the arms, and still be able to keep your balance. All right. Second side. So shifting to the left. And bringing your right foot up. And release. Hands back, Anjali Mudra. Inhale, lift both arms. And as you exhale, bring the hands Anjali Mudra. Let's bend both knees. Inhale, you're going to straighten the legs and reach the arms up. And again, exhale, we bring the hands in front of the heart, bending the knees, weight back in the heels. Inhale, rise. 2 more times. Exhale, so it's like a chair pose with the hands coming back home towards the heart. Weight is back in the heels. Rising. And last time. And inhale, rising. And exhale, we'll take the arms wide. Let's reach all the way out the heels of the hands. And bring the hands back down. So now I want to be able to step back. So I want to be able to step straight back behind me. So you'll make sure there's nothing back there. Because we're going to go to not as deep of a seat. So we'll take a little modified seat and shift the weight to the right foot and step the left foot back to a high lunge. All right. So let's inhale, lift both arms. Let's reach all the way up from those upper corners. Exhale, let's bring hands down in front of the heart. Bend the knees, not as deeply. Shift the weight to the right and reach your left foot back. You can take the arms out wide. Lift the torso up away from the front thigh. Rotate the palms skyward. And inhale, lift your arms. Can you lift the heart? Can you roll that space above the collarbones up? And then we'll take the arms out. Bow forward, halfway. Airplane arms. You're going to inhale, step to chair pose. Exhale, stand all the way up. Inhale while you're there. Exhale, a small knee bend. We bring the hands to the heart. We're shifting the weight to the left. Inhaling the arms out. And exhale, reaching the right foot back. Inhale, lift the heart. You can keep the arms wide or lift the arms up. If the arms come up, roll above the collarbones, up towards the tops of the shoulders. And then we'll inhale the arms out. Exhale to airplane. Lifting the back of the diaphragm. Inhale to chair. And exhale, rising. Inhale while you're there. Exhale, hands back, Anjali Mudra. Inhale the arms wide. This time we're going to exhale another little knee bend. We're shifting the weight right. Step the left foot back again. Whoops. Okay. Inhale, lift the arms, high lunge. Exhale, bow forward. This time we're coming all the way down. Hands can find either blocks or the floor. And step back to plank pose. And downward facing dog. Let's inhale and step the right foot forward. So here we are in our lunge. Inhale, upright. Exhale towards airplane. Step to chair pose. And inhale, straighten both legs. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. I think, did we do the right leg twice there? Can't remember.
No.
What was that?
No.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so now let's, we're gonna inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up. And as you exhale, I want you to shift the weight to your left leg and lift your right leg up. Now you can bow forward as much as you want. Right leg lifted, hands either on blocks or the ground. Exhale, we're going to lower the right leg. Bring it by the left foot. There's Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway. And then we'll exhale, and we're going to pick up the left leg. Left leg up. So you're using the back of the left glute to help you lift your left leg. And releasing through the front of the body to bow forward. Exhale, lower the left leg. You can draw the blocks back in. Inhale, halfway up. So that modified Padangusthasana, roll at the top of the breastbone, roll up above the collarbones. Exhale, bend both knees. Weight more in the heels than in the balls of the feet. And inhale, chair pose. And inhale, straighten the legs. And exhale, hands back in front of your heart. Just taking a moment to close your eyes, just to feel the efforts of your practice. And then we'll release the arms. So let's take a modified warrior 3. And let me just remind you that you, on the standing leg, you want that strength of the outer hip. So for example, if we're gonna stand on the right leg first, and I take my left leg back just as it's ready to be lifted. This first round, let's take the arms out on the inhale. And then with the exhale, you're picking up the back leg as the torso comes down towards the ground. And then we'll come back up. Okay? You ready? So we'll inhale the arms out. Step the left foot back. Take another inhale, and then when you're ready, reaching into the ground, drawing the right outer hip in towards the core of the pelvis. Pick up the back leg. Inhale, come back up. Great. Let's try the other side. Let's inhale the arms out. Step the left foot just back on the toes. And then drawing left outer hip towards the core. Picking up the right leg. And then rising back up. Hands in front of the heart again. So you could either return to that one, and you can always you could either have the blocks tall, hands on blocks, you could have the hands wide like you just had, or you could take a cross crawl. So if I take the cross crawl, when you step one leg back, that the leg that's back is going to be the leg that's lifted will be the arm that's forward for the cross crawl. So that when you go, you'll have, if it's whichever leg back, that arm is forward, and with the standing leg arm is straight back. So that'll be your cross crawl. All right? Did you try it? You ready? Here we go. You can stand on the right leg first, left leg back. You're welcome to start with the arms out wide. And then with the exhale, as you pick up the back leg, swing the left arm forward and the right arm straight back. And then rise back up. This will keep you in the present moment. Second side. You ready? So you're going to step right foot back slightly and take the arms wide to begin. I find that helpful. You don't have to. And then with the exhale, pick up the back leg. Yeah. Drawing that outer hip to midline. The back leg arm goes forward. Yeah. Great, Dawn. There you go. That's it, Lise. Everyone. And back up. That's it. There. Yes. Those are tough. Beautiful. Very graceful. And just arriving back home again. All right. Then we're going to inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, Utkatasana, chair again. So as you bend down here, take the weight back in the heels. Can you lift a little above the collarbones? And then with the next exhale, we'll bow forward. Hands can find blocks. Inhale, straighten the legs. And exhale, bowing forward, Uttanasana. Letting go of the head. Then we're going to inhale halfway. And exhale, we're bringing the knees to the ground and taking child's pose. Just breathing and resting in your child's pose. All right. And then walk your hands back. Okay. So I want us now to go into a supported bridge pose so that we can put more prana, chi, life force to be flowing into this space of the heart. As we work to be understanding of ourselves and others who may or may not believe like we believe, right? That's important that we allow. So this, if we use a chair, I'll show it with the chair first, and then I'll show you an option if you're not going to use the chair. So if I'm going to use my chair, I'm going to also put a pad on my chair seat. So I'm going to take a blanket, just a pad, just to cushion this chair seat because it's metal and cold. And I'm going to take my 2 blocks. And again, this will be depending on your height and your back bending comfort. If I take my 2 blocks, and you see I have them on the lowest setting, one stacked on top of the other. So for some of you, this will feel right. And for some of you, this will feel too tall. So some of you might be at 1 block, and some of you might be having one on top of the other on their flattest settings. If I have a bolster, then I'm going to put my bolster on top of that stack. And then I'm going to take 2 more blankets, folded in half lengthwise above that. So I've got 2 blankets folded in half lengthwise. All right. And so for this one, I come to my bolster. If I don't have a bolster, then I've got, a blanket or 2 instead of a bolster. I'm going to take my pelvis on the chair side of my bolster, and I'm going to bring my shoulders down to my blanket. I'm going to take my legs up to my chair seat and my arms kind of in a T position. And I want this to feel really comfortable. So again, C7 is on the blanket. The rest of my neck is not. It's just free floating. If this isn't, comfortable for you, then let's find something that is comfortable for you. So this is one option. If I'm not going to use the chair, I could set up closer to a wall and I could have my legs resting on the wall, right? I could have my legs up the wall. I could, if I'm not going to use if I have no bolster, then I'll get rid of that. And I might have one block, or probably one. And I might just take one or two blankets on top of that block. There's that. Or I might just take one or two blankets and put them a few inches away from a wall, and just take a version of like legs up the wall. Like so. That might be so that I won't have the real back bendy kind of shape, but I'm still getting a bit of an inversion. If none of those are suitable, and you please say something so I can give you maybe an idea. This is a restorative. If that doesn't work, Ingrid, you could always come back up again and try it from having the block stacked in the bolster, and then you sit on the other side of that bolster when you come over it. That looks good though, Sherry. Yeah. And you might even, yeah, I can't exactly see everything, Sherry, but yeah, experiment. That looks good. What I might wonder is, I'm always curious how many blocks are under the pelvis, and whether there's a little more heart pouring for the future if you do it at home. You've got one there? Yeah. So don't come out of this right now, but if you practice this again tomorrow or something, try it with two. Try it, yeah. That looks good, Allison. Mm-hmm. I like to make sure my shoulders are on the blanket, my head is on the ground. My neck is, C7 is grounded, but the rest of the neck is free. So there isn't any pressure on the rest of the cervical. And the arms, I like to take them, and you might experiment, Jackie, with the arms wider. Yeah, let the shoulders rest on the blanket, and make sure your head is on the floor, and that the most of your neck is not on the blanket. It's, yeah, you feel that difference. So when you've got this, can you put your felt sense in that space above the collarbones? And with your felt sense, allow that space above the collarbones to be rolling up towards the throat. and just for future reference for some of you, this pose, when you get it right, when you feel like, wow, I feel this, the medicine of this, like there's no like discomfort feeling. You feel more that pouring of like prana, that pouring of your life force into that heart space. And so you might, sometimes you might take this pose 5 or 10 minutes or longer. But for now, you're going to, if you've got this position, that kind of waterfalling position, you'll keep going towards your head. Move towards the head to come out, and then take your time. I know it takes practice to make it a kind of graceful exit. Yeah. So that the pelvis is still supported, maybe on the blanket that was under the shoulders. All right. And then let's roll over to one side and use your arms to press yourself up. Okay. And we're going to take a twist, a seated twist. So I might just sit on the blankets that were under my shoulders. Take both legs straight to begin, and then let's take Marichyasana 3. So let's go ahead. We'll bend the right leg, left leg straight, right hand behind, either left hand across, holding the left knee or the outer elbow. And as you turn towards your right, not pulling the right arm bone back. You can lift right above the right collarbone, but let's not pull that shoulder back. And then let's exhale and come back to center. We just take a brief little moment there. Let's bend the other leg. Left hand behind, right hand, crook of the elbow, outer elbow. And from right above the left collarbone, close to midline, roll that up. And then with the exhale, let's come back to center. Great. And we'll just take both legs straight. So let's set up for a seated pranayama before Shavasana. We're going to do our pranayama before Shavasana. So give yourself a comfortable seat, whatever that might look like for you today, whether it's seated on a bolster, up on blankets, seated on blocks, in some sort of asana, whatever works for you this morning. And you can have also an idea of what your Shavasana is also going to look like today, so that you can transition into it without much effort or rearranging. And then once you've taken a comfortable seat and you're resting your hands however you would like them to be, you'll go ahead and close your eyes. and drop back into your Ujjayi. Again, can you imagine the inhale coming in right at the top of the breastbone in that sternal notch, in that soft space? And the exhale also turning around, coming right back out through that same soft space. And right now, can you make the Ujjayi balanced 1 to 1? And you could, so you're counting the length of the inhale and the length of the exhale, and lengthening the one that's shorter and making them as close as possible, not without any strain. No strain, no stress. And now let's turn this breath into the box breathing. And so you're going to inhale for, say, a count of 4 or 5, whatever is achievable for you. Suspend the inhale for that same length. Exhale, the same length. Suspend the exhale for that same amount and keep going. At the bottom, of your next exhale, just release any control on the breath. And can we bring the right hand up for Nadi Shodhana, for alternate nostril breathing? Right hand up, inhaling through both nostrils, and exhaling out both nostrils. Then you'll close the right nostril, inhale left, close the left, exhale right, you'll inhale right, close the right, and exhale left. And can you do 2 more full rounds? So you'll know you've completed a round when you've exhaled back out the left. In the Ujjayi, in the Nadi Shodhana, the breath is not Ujjayi. And then the next time you are exhaling left, just release your hand. And then you're welcome to bring yourself to Shavasana. Perhaps there has been no disaster, no great calamity, and the present whirlwind is only another great invitation to be here, to live in this moment, the only moment there is, to actually turn towards this empty and ungrounded feeling, to deeply honor it, to allow it in, to say yes to life in all its myriad present appearances. Yes to everything being uncertain right now. Yes to everything spinning out of control. Yes to none of it making sense. The focus off the story of the time and space, and to bring loving focus back to the place you actually are and will always be, here and now, your true home. To let go of the dreams and sink into the sacred mystery of it all. Perhaps then, in the midst of breakdown, the seeds of breakthrough can take root, planted with wisdom, watered with love, and held in the warmth of your timeless presence. And allowing your breath to deepen. And making a mindful transition over to one side. And using the support of your arms to press yourself back up to sitting. And bringing your hands together in Anjali Mudra. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. Sorry to keep you late. Be well.